to move up to 24. Would you do that for Walter Nolan? Without further ado, let's bring my boy in from Birds 365. Say, Zander Krause, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
All good. Would you be willing to do that with the Vikings? Vikings need multiple picks.
Yeah, what was it? It was 32 and what?
32 and your third. Because
I think I'd do that.
Because
I don't know.
Here's the value. Again, your pick at 32 is your value on the value chart is 590. The 24th pick is 740. And Howie uses a version of this. So you would have to come up with a value that makes that for Minnesota to want to do this. And they need multiple picks. Now, you could also package this up because you're sitting at 590. You could go a fifth.
Yeah, how much are the fifths worth versus the third?
Okay, the fifth round draft choices are 31 points, 30 points. Here, let's go to their fifths.
How much is our third worth?
Your third round pick, what number is it?
96.
160.
So I was going to say 2/5, but 2/5 isn't going to cut it for a third. I don't want to give up that third, though, man. We need players. You know, you get down to the fifth round, now you're really throwing darts. I think that third round pick is actually gonna be valuable.
I think 24 is too high. I think 24.
I don't know if you got to go to 24. If you want Nolan, you probably do. You probably do.
You don't think he'll be
Minnesota's the one team that's guaranteed to trade back.
Yeah, because they're again
not guaranteed, but they're most likely to trade back.
They're going to trade back because, I mean, to me, I'll tell you this: the sleeper in the draft. How about Howie telegraphing it too? It's funny. Howie telegraphing it, going, Big Dom's the most important guy in the fucking building. This guy does everything. So you're taking Mike Green, aren't you? Hey, that's how I read that.
I think I'd take Mike Green. That kid's a good football player.
I mean,
his story's a little sketchy, but the reason I say I'd take him is not because it's because I think the Eagles organization is good enough at doing their homework. So if they take that guy, you know that everything checked out on it. And when you're talking about, I mean, forget the off the field stuff, pure football, that dude can flat out play. So that would be a great pick. But a lot of option sills tomorrow night is what I've, obviously we've talked about this many weeks now, but so many options. I mean, you're going to trade back, you're going to trade up. They got multiple targets in round one at multiple positions. So in a way, you could say the team is kind of positioned to not be able to lose, but where are you going to get the most value? Will Howie move up, move back, stay put? Will he take a safety, defensive tackle, defensive end, cornerback? I mean, they're bringing in so many people. The options are through the roof for the Birds and for the draft as a whole, which is dope.
So let me give you this guy's name. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. So Florida NFL scout. Okay, I was just given this little bit of information here. Sean Heelan does the Southwest. He's also been moved to do the Southeast. He met with Arroyo at Miami. That's their area scout.
Not my favorite. I'd so much rather get Mason Taylor. I think Mason Taylor could be Dallas.
Oh, I think they're turning all stones over. Joy told me they talked to him.
Yeah, I think Mason Taylor would be a home run. The thing I like about Taylor is I think he's got the highest upside. I mean, you look at him, he's like 6'5", 260. So he's not a great blocker, but he also wasn't asked to block. He was a catch machine, moved the chains a ton, wasn't great in the red zone. But if you're telling me, I think that guy with the right coaching and once he puts on some muscle in the NFL, I think that dude could be a great blocker. I see Dallas Goedert as an upside in him.
Let me give you a little insight about his background. He wanted to play hoop. He didn't really get going into football until his junior year. Okay, so he's a late bloomer. So which means he's not learning the techniques and all this, and he's just learning now. He's getting better and better, and he's young.
Yeah.
So sometimes a guy just hits later in his strides and gets better because he just doesn't have the multiple reps. They have multiple tight ends down at LSU. So to me, he's a prospect, like you say. He fits the measurables. He looks the measurables. He's got great athletic ability. He's got a great background. And he's a late bloomer, which means he's an underachiever at LSU. It's not because he's lazy. It's just because he hasn't been given opportunity. That's a guy like Jalix Hunt. They've showed you that they move on guys like that. Nolan Smith, too. They show you that there's guys that need refining that they'll go take. That's why Mason Taylor fits that MO. I've learned one thing covering your team this year better than I ever have when it comes to doing your draft. It's not about the name on the back of the jersey at all. It has nothing to do with it. This has everything to do with value. It has everything to do with ability. It has everything to do with game tape. And most importantly, also, it has to do with value of contracts. Now, our heated conversation yesterday, it wasn't an indictment, Zander, that they're not doing it right. You're right. They're 48-20 in the last 4 years with 2 Super Bowl appearances and a win. Their idea is this. They're going to target very few guys on defense for multiple contracts because they don't want to spend that kind of money. You got 10 guys on offense right now making $15 million or more. You got one starter making north of 15, and you got a bust of a free agent sitting on the pine. The rest of these guys are one-year warriors. They are rookie contracts, and that's their formula. That's how – you're right. Milton Williams-Sills, was he a great pick for them? Sure was, but they look at it like this. See ya, Milton. I'll find another Milton in the next 3-4 drafts. We'll play 4 years with him and move on from him. That's how they look at it.
Yeah,
it's not an indictment, bro.
I know. It is. It is. It goes back to our conversation yesterday where I beat the
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you, Ben. No, you're right though. You're what you just said is completely true with
But it
the way they
wins.
do it.
Like Mike Golick said.
That's why there's no pushback on it. Now, if you fall apart and your defense can't stop a nosebleed, then you got big issues with the philosophy. But because the philosophy works so good, and by the way, I think Vic just took it over the top. I mean, now that you got Vic Fangio in the room, I'm not saying he's going to mask every problem, but boy, he's going to make every move have a 20% increase in chance of success, on that defensive side of the ball, which is a big thing.
Well, because a year ago, what you had was a guy who painted Picasso pictures. Now you have Picasso himself. Who would you rather have in your building painting you pictures?
Yeah,
Picasso or the guy who wants to paint pictures that Picasso paints? You know what I mean? You got the guy.
Yeah, right.
So to me, you're going to get a different taste for that. Now, hey, folks,
you go down to Picasso guy or something?
What's that? Oh, I like paintings. Listen.
Yeah, I like Michelangelo, baby.
Me too, baby. The Pietà and all that. That's a sculpture.
Baby.
I like
the Sistine
that.
Chapel. I like the art in the Sistine Chapel. I'm not a travel guy, Sills, but that's one place I want to go and visit.
Oh, you have to go see the 16th ceiling, man.
Yeah.
That fresco is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Do you believe, speaking of art here, these 5 guys, here are my 5 dudes, and if they're not there, Zander, I'm out of here. And we'll be sitting there pissed off because the Eagles move out of the first round.
Yo, Sills, real quick, though, before you give me your 5, don't you think it's going to be a little bit of a timing game tomorrow, too? Because if you wait too long, like in other words, you're about to give me 5 names. If you wait till 29 or 30 or 31, which you might have to, and then you lose out at the last second, you might pigeonhole yourself into not having a trade back partner. Do you see what I'm saying with that? Like if you wait to see what happens, or wait to see if your guy falls, and then somebody makes a move up, or you lose your trade back partner at 32, or nobody wants to go to 32 because they're all waiting for the top of the second round and move to get rid of the 5th-year option, you could be screwed.
Yeah, but
I think Eagles got to make a decision earlier. That's why I say go up.
Wait, now, hear me out on this. Okay. You're sitting at 32, though. Jackson Dart, Shador, and Jalen Milroe haven't been taken yet. I think you have dance partners there then. If those 3 guys have not been taken, that somebody's going to want. Wouldn't Cleveland want to jump down from or jump up from the 30? I told you this. The value says this. So if you trade the 33rd pick, the first pick in the second round at 580, the 32nd pick's 590. If I'm Howie Roseman and the Cleveland Browns need a quarterback, which they do desperately, I go to Howie. I mean, I go to Andrew Berry and go, tell you what, I'll move down to 33. You move up to 32, and you give me a 7th round, 203rd pick, and I'll give you the 32nd, and you give me your 33rd. That's what you're going to have. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to take my 32nd, and you're going to have to give me also a 7th rounder. I need a 7th and a 32, and I'll take the 33.
Yeah.
So you get an additional pick. You get a 7. What does Howie love to do? I've learned one thing about you boys, man. He loves
those extra picks.
He likes those 5th and 6th rounders because you know why?
Yeah.
He likes to bunch them up to trade around because he's using the value chart.
Dude, we got 4 in the 160s this year. I think it was Emrace, my boy Emrace. Yeah, look, 161, 164, 165, 168. There's no way they take 4 picks in there.
Okay, let me show you what those are. Give me those again.
161, 164, 65, and 68.
27, 26, 25, and another 25. Okay, that's 125 points. He could take every one of those picks, 125, and he can move up and give those fifth round picks and move up to 24. Give him that. He could give all those 5th round picks and that 32nd pick to Minnesota to get up to that 24. Would you give up all your 5th rounders and that 32nd to move up to 24?
All your 5ths?
Yeah, because that's what's going to cost you.
Yeah. I don't think they would do that just because I think they're going to want to shake and bake in the later rounds. Like you heard Howie on his interview, or he did those questions yesterday. Saturday's his favorite day, dude. Like they like moving around, even if the players aren't as high caliber. If they get rid of 4/5, that means they're going to have a 4th on day 3, and that's it.
Okay, but here, follow me here, though. How many picks do you think in the next 2 years he's going to use those 20 picks?
15, 16, maybe.
Okay,
so you could probably say it at 14, just average 7 a year, you know.
Okay. All right. Let me give you my 5.
What do you think they take? You think I'm high?
I don't think they're going to move up to 24. That's way too
high. I don't either. But I mean, like, how many picks do you think they're going to take in the next 2 years?
14. I think they'll go 7-7. Okay. I do. I think they'll end up doing that. By the way, we'll read supers at the end. Guys, hit that like button here. All right, let me give you my 5 guys. I think these 5 guys are here. If they're not, there's no, unless that Mike Green guy falls down off a cliff. And I'm going to put Mike Green out there because I think Howie threw out the bat signal. He went like this. He goes, Big Dom! Big Dom! Big Dom!
Are you kidding me?
Big
With
Dom!
the flashlight on cue?
Look,
you got to be kidding me.
Big Dom! Big Dom! Mike Green, look at him. All right. Malachi Starks, Georgia safety. Maxwell Harrison, Kentucky corner. James Pierce, edge. Derek Harmon, Oregon. And Walter Nolan, Ole Miss, defensive tackle. I think those 5 guys, because here, there's massive need at safety. There's a massive need at corner. I think we're all sitting here really, there's no massive need at edge because they won without it. If you guys are telling me, hey, Sills, fuck your mentality when it comes to like player development. Did we win the Super Bowl? Yeah. Did you win the Super Bowl, Zander, without a premier edge rusher?
Yeah, technically.
Why did that all of a sudden turn into a need now?
Well, because you did lose 2 bodies there. I mean, you got to repopulate, is the word John likes to use. You do. I mean, you lost.
Tell me they're replaceable?
Well, they're replaceable, but you still got to get bodies.
Okay.
You like an Azizio Jalari, Joshua Uche Kuchi.
Do you have 5 guys you like? Or
In the
3?
draft?
Yeah,
I could give you a couple.
What do you think they do down there?
I've been saying trade up for a month just because of what I explained to you, where I'm like, I don't think you want to wait for the board to fall to you in this draft at 32. And I think there's a chance you could miss out on all the guys that they like the Pierce, Nolan, Shamar Stewart, all of these dudes that could go. Even Malachi Starks could probably go. And then you're probably going to take a player that you don't want, or you don't want to take at that position or at that spot in the draft. So I like a trade up, Sills. But I don't like 24. Give me like 28. Jump to Commanders. Jump to Command. Don't let those efforts dictate your destiny. All right. Jump to Commanders. Who picks 28?
I think it's the Commanders. I think are 28, 29. I forget.
The Commanders are 29.
Okay. They're going for an edge in this draft. Okay, they're going for an edge. So they need pass rush help. And plus you have what? Dan Quinn. Hey, don't be shocked if Malachi Starks ends up there too, because why also, man? Hey, I'd want to have him in the middle of my defense too, in my secondary back there.
Right.
So they're going defense. Or is there an offensive lineman that they truly love there? I doubt that they would take. I don't know, but because Tunsil, they put another guy on the other side. I don't know. I just for me, if there's not, do you think they're really in love with a guy down? How could you be in love?
I don't think so. I don't either. I haven't heard even a couple of years ago, you got the sense early that they were in love with Jordan Davis. That they love Jalen Carter. I don't think they're in love with anybody, but the name that has come to the surface a lot, especially this week, is Walter Nolan for sure. I know he's had a lot of hype for a couple of months, but a lot of it was unfounded. He wasn't on a top 30 visit. There was no rumblings from inside the organization or anything like that. Now I have John telling me he's hearing some things that Walter Nolan's the guy that they would like to get. That he's the guy they'd be willing to move up for if they did move up. So Nolan does appear to be the guy. I actually like that Nick Scorton as well from Texas A&M. I think he's a pretty good player. I think he's
going to go to second.
Yeah, I do too. Top of the second, I think. So maybe he's available there at 32 if you're not able to trade back. Sleeper guy I like in this draft too is actually Benjamin Morrison. I know he had that injury, but I think he's a really good cornerback. I love the Gray's Able kid. I mean, that kid can really play. I like him a lot. Who else do I like? Mike Green. I told you I like Mike Green. I think he's the most talented edge rusher in the draft. But I don't know if he'll get taken. I don't know where he'll get taken. So there's a lot of good guys there, but 28 is the Lions. I don't think they're going to want to move back.
No. Folks at Penn State said that the Eagles talked to Tyler Warren, whatever that's worth.
What would you have to send? Ready? The 32, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson, and how high could you get with that?
Well, where do you think he's going to go?
I think he goes.
What pick do you think he lands in, Tyler Warren?
So I keep saying top 15, but honestly, the more I look at the board, it could really be top 10.
Let's just take your 15.
Top 10.
Let's take your 15. Okay. The 15th pick is 1,050 value. You're at 590. You'd have to give your 32nd. You would have to give your second and third to move up to 15.
Well, what's Goedert worth if he's worth a 4? Let's just say
if he's worth the 4, then you're talking about going 32 Goedert and a second to get up to 15. Would you do that to get Tyler Warren? Do you love that player that much to do that?
I do. I don't think he's going to be there at 15 though.
Okay, think he goes higher. All right.
Well, look at the draft. I mean, do you think he gets past? I
don't understand. What I don't understand about this draft and how they look at it is doing this. Tight ends are so valuable in today's NFL, and yet they're devaluing them in the draft, and they don't pay them. I don't get it. I mean,
where was Brock Bowers drafted last year?
right. The Dolphins took him down there like a little bit outside, like 13, 14, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think
And
this is his floor. I
like,
think
get this.
14 is his floor.
Get this. And like Bowers may have been the best player in last year's draft.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
I agree with Inferno, who says, though, that 14, I think that's the floor for Tyler Warren.
going to the Colts, get this. So you're Tyler Warren, you're going to the Colts with no quarterback, Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Jesus criminy. You talk about going to shitty places. That's an example of going to a shitty place. Now you got Shane Steichen there. By the way, Anthony Richardson will not start the season as a starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. He is the next Trey Lance, in my opinion, where he went to draft as high as he went.
Who's the next Trey Lance?
Anthony Richardson.
Oh yeah, he's already done.
Dimes Jones is going to start there.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson's done there. Anybody who thinks otherwise is wrong. He's done.
Who are your top 3 players if they're sitting down there? Who would you take, and who would you? I think if one of those my 5 guys aren't there, I think they're out of there. I think they're going to move out, and I think they're going to be exceptionally active on days 2 and 3. Like you're going to see a bunch of movement.
Yeah, there's no doubt you'll see a lot of movement, but.
Yeah,
who are your 5? You never read off your 5 to me. Walter Nolan.
Derek Harmon, Oregon DT.
Yeah, I like him.
James Pierce, Tennessee edge. Maxwell Harrison, Kentucky corner. And Malachi Starks, Georgia safety. Those are my 5.
I'd probably limit that down to 3. I'd get rid of Hairston. I like the player, but I don't think they're going to take him at 32. I wouldn't take him at 32. I think if he falls in the 2nd, that could be an option. But
so you're sold on Adoree Jackson?
No, I'm not sold on Adoree Jackson. I just think at that spot you got to get the edge first. I in my mock, I picked up Benjamin Morrison in the 2nd round because I think he's going to fall down there because of that injury. I think he's a high upside player. They're going to address cornerback, I think, at least. So, I don't know where they're going to do that, but they are going to do that. I'm not huge on Hairston, though. So, I can see him taking a line.
I'm looking at value and need.
All right, ready? Here's my 3. Walter Nolan. Gray Zabel, offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a slam dunk at 32 if he falls. And do I go Malachi Starks? Probably. I'll go 4. I'll go Malachi Starks and I'll go James Pierce.
So if you go Malachi Starks, I said this. You have Malachi Starks. So you have Q at one corner. You have Reed Blankenship at the other. You're praying Sidney Brown wins that job. You got Cooper. No, you put Malachi maybe in the slot, and then you put Cooper outside. So you have Cooper DeJean and Q playing your corners. Your safeties are Malachi and Reed, and Brown maybe in the slot. Maybe that's a better position for him because he's more of an active guy like a linebacker back there than he is really a corner or a true safety. Maybe you put him in a role and you create a role for him back there. You move him into that slot. You move Cooper out in the number. And get this, what you get here, Zander. You're paying what you did with the 22nd pick a year ago, $3 million. Reed, you're saying, is going to get anywhere between 8 and 10. You got Brown on a third-round contract, which is making 1.5. You've got Cooper making on a second-round contract $2 million. And if you get this kid, Malachi, at 32, you're paying that guy 2.7. So for the next 5 years, 2.7, 2, 1.5, 8, Reed, and $3 million for Q. You're not only secure for the next 4 years, the back end of your would be the cheapest secondary, but with the highest upside of anybody in the league. And you're paying less than $20 million for all 4 positions of 5 if you're counting a nickel.
Well, the chicken's going to come home to roost eventually back there.
That's going to be a number in about 5 years, boy. You're going to have to make some tough calls here, but
absolutely.
kind of what they're doing right now. They're looking at the best value for the money. Money is a factor for them. You see Gardner Johnson talking shit today again, what he said?
No, what did he say?
He goes like this, I still can't get over the trade. I don't know what happened. Like, bro, if you don't know what happened, that's why you were traded. He's still in shock.
Bro, like I'm done with CJ Gardner. Like, all right, dude. I mean, holy shit. It's like the fucking guy who doesn't shut up at recess because he doesn't get enough attention from everybody. Dude, yeah, move on. You're in a good organization in Houston. Go ball out. Do what you got to do. Go make another contract. Quit crying about Philadelphia and the Eagles. Holy moly. And the dude, like, here's the thing I laugh at. The dude goes out and tweets like, 2 straight Super Bowls with my. Oh, yeah. I'm sure that you were the only reason the Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl in the 2 years that they went. It wasn't Saquon Barkley. It wasn't the offensive line. It wasn't Zach Bond or Jalen Carter or any of the other guys, right? Right, CJ Gardner Johnson? Like, all right, dude. I've never bashed them because I don't have a problem with them.
He's a product.
I'm just getting done with it, dude. It's just annoying.
He's a product of circumstances. That's what he is.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, it means this. He just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Well, no, yeah. I'm
not saying he's not good.
He was valuable. I think he was valuable. But
I got it.
I mean, dude, how much longer are you gonna cry about your ex? You know?
I got it. Yeah,
move on, big dog.
That's right, man. There's other little fishies out there, right, Sue?
All right. Zander, chill on my dog. He loves the city and just feel it. I don't think he loves the city, bro, at all. All right. I don't.
Hey, so you don't think they draft a quarterback in this draft?
I'm warming to that idea. That makes a lot of sense to me. You got a quarterback at your backup right now that some people think has trade value. I think it's a 5th or a 6th, but some people tell me it's.
You don't really like him that much, do you?
Tanner McKee?
Yeah.
I mean, what can I just
you
ask?
Just rolled your shoulders, Tanner McKee.
Well, I mean, what has this guy done to make people like act like he's the next like great quarterback in the league? I think he's a solid guy. I think he's all right.
The backup quarterback is usually the most popular player on the roster because they're waiting to talk shit on the starter because he makes the most money.
Yeah.
That's why they would never consider drafting Jalen Milroe. Or they would – I heard you say that today. You think they're going to try to duplicate that thing with Milroe like they did with Hurts?
No, I don't.
Wentz?
I don't. But I'll say this. I'll say this. Take out your Eagle objective fandom, everybody. All right? And I saw this dude make a post on Facebook, and he's like, I promise you, if Jalen Milroe's there at 64, the Eagles will take him. Jalen Hurts was not performing good enough last year in this $150 million offense. When you're in the NFL, you got to have turnover. Paying premiums for mediocrity is not going to cut it. This team will draft Jalen Milroe. Now, I didn't agree with the guy's sentiment, but I will say I did sit here and think, we talk about cap crunch.
Is he related to me?
You just it might have been a Sileo burner, baby. It might have been a Sileo burner.
Sileo knew how to make a burner finally.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, from a business standpoint, remember, he is the most expensive player on the team. I'm not trying to take a knock on the quarterback, but if you need to get better and you feel like you can get better or stay the same or improve cheaper, that's what businesses do. So, I'm just saying I wouldn't rule it out completely. Anytime you have a team that has a quarterback making what they're making, if they're not doing everything they can continuously to keep that job, they could be gone soon. I mean, you see it happen all the time. So I'm just saying I wouldn't rule it out. I think a quarterback in the 4th or 5th is more likely. I think one of those 5ths will be on a quarterback, maybe a Kyle McCord.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I can see them using one of them 5ths on a QB. I think everybody should always draft a quarterback. You never know when you land on Brady or Purdy.
Yeah. See, this is why I originally don't think. Well, I originally Luther, I didn't think they were going to draft a quarterback, but I'm warming to the idea because quarterback factory, baby. But are you assuming we trading Tanner because we traded for the QB from Cleveland? That's right. We also do have that guy we picked up, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So maybe they wouldn't draft a quarterback. Both of those guys are under contract for 2 more years.
What if you trade Tanner to New Orleans?
Let me guess. We're getting a 1st for Tanner to New Orleans.
A 4th, like a 5th or 6th.
Yeah, so you take a 5th rounder to be your 3rd string.
And you got your guy that you got from Cleveland.
Yeah,
as
there
your
you go. And they
backup guy.
battle it out for 2nd and 3rd, and there you go. Now you got a cheap quarterback under contract.
Like if I got a 5th for Tanner, he was a 7th round fucking pick.
I just think next year makes more sense for the quarterback because
right.
you have 2 young players. Like they're not. I don't think they're going to go back down the Gardner Minshew, Marcus Mariota route. I think they're going to choose to be cheap at the backup quarterback. So the way to do that is to take a 5th or a 6th round draft pick every 4 years, basically. So you still have 2 years of McKee and Dorian. I think probably next year is when the quarterback will come late.
Hit that like button, guys. We'll do your supers here in a second here. So dude, what's up? Where's Goedert? What's up with Goedert? Where are we going here with this? What's up with this guy? I mean, what are they doing? I mean, would we not agree that position this offseason has been the most secretive of what they want to do, what they don't want to do? They are not telling you anything. I mean, dude, are they in a contract squabble with him? Are they not? Have they offered anything? What is on the is there anything on the table? Is Goedert telling you F off? Or are the Eagles telling you to F off? Are there any communications? What's going on here?
We are getting nothing from this.
What does that tell you then when you're not getting anything?
If I had to guess, I would say Goddard's holding out because they only want to give him a year or 2, maybe even just 1. Like they probably said to him, "We'll guarantee your money for this year, and then after that, we won't." And he probably is knowing he's 30. He wants another 3-year deal with bigger guaranteed money. Eagles aren't going to give him it. So I think there's a contract stalemate there. And that's why they've went out and signed the 2 guys that they did, whatever you think they are, Kylan Granson and Harrison Bryant. But so that could be it. But I don't know. I mean, what are they waiting for?
I don't know.
Well, June 1, that's what they're waiting for. Because if they move them before June 1st, they lose $9 million. If they trade them after June 1st, they pick up like $4 million. So it's a $13 million swing.
So is his contract up?
Who, Goedert? No, he has a year left.
He has a year left on his current
He's under
deal.
contract. Like you could technically bring him back and James Bradbury him.
Okay, so the franchise tag for a tight end is $13 million. I'm just saying, void the last year, give him 13. He could play 1 year and then go be a free agent where you want to be. Why not do that?
Move, but maybe that would insinuate the Eagles are the ones who don't want to tango because you're right. Why wouldn't they have done that?
Well, I mean,
tag. So I don't know.
Get this, the tag's cheaper than what they're paying him.
I know.
So it would be a deal for them.
Yeah, right.
And then he would be able to
have cap manipulation on that, though.
Hey, dude, all I'm saying is, isn't the best option keeping him? If you got 1 year left on a $15 million deal for a guy who led the team in pass catching in the postseason, doesn't it make sense to pay that guy $50? Now, I want to ask you one question though on this here with this. So you tell me what they think of the valuing of that tight end position. I'm going to show you something here. So the wide receiver position, number 3, and Goedert and Calcaterra combined had 68 catches a year ago. Is that $15 million? Absolutely not. Jahan Dotson. This is what they had. Dotson, Johnny Wilson, Paris Campbell, Anis Smith, and Britton Covey. They had 44 catches. I mean, I'm not spending any money on wide receiver 3, and I'm not caring about tight end any longer. Am I?
Doesn't seem like it.
68 catches. And they won here. And they won the Super Bowl.
Deshae, is he right or what? Every offensive starter on the team is signed except for Goedert. Dude had the most catches in the playoffs. Pay him, LOL. He is right. Like, if you're Goedert, you have a right to be feeling some type of way. Like, all right, dude, you fucking paid everybody on this day. Everybody except the right guard. And you can't give me a $14 million peanut after leading your team in receptions in the playoff. He's probably like, man, this is BS. Get me out of here.
That sounds to me like us on Reddit crying. I had 30 sacks. In 2 years, I destroyed Purdy's shoulder.
Well, good. If it's Hassan Reddick, you better learn from it, Goedert.
Yeah, because then he goes to the Jets. I still don't get it though, man. He goes to Tampa, gets $11.5 million
What the heck?
deal.
Well, I'm happy for him,
Hey,
but still,
okay, yeah, real. I don't. So, what, like, do you agree that fuck, man? I mean, they don't really look at that wide receiver 3 and tight end. I think they're shifting in their idea of running the football and being a dominant team. Last one here for you. Is there any concern? Do you want? Is your number one objective right now to protect Hurts? Or to protect Goddard, or protect Barkley. Because you know why? If you're taking a security blanket away in Dallas Goedert and you're bringing in Harrison Bryant.
Sileo on his BS again.
Hey, wait a minute. You're taking the number one pass target away.
Oh, no.
Because
he's not the number one pass target.
Wait, in the postseason he was.
Oh,
and
my God.
what they're doing is they are protecting Barkley with the tight ends who they've signed. They want run blockers. To me, it sounds like they're protecting Barkley more than they are Hurts because they've declined a 5th-year option on Dotson and they're getting rid of Goddard. How's that helping the passing game?
All right, let's go and check this sucker out. He did not lead the team in the Green Bay playoff game. Let's see. Did he lead the team in the Rams playoff game? He did lead the team in the Rams playoff game with a 56 yards receiving. That was the game we only had like 60 total passing yards. Did he lead in the Washington game? I think that was his big game. Nope, he didn't lead in that. A.J. Brown did, and I know he didn't lead in the Super Bowl because he only had like 30 yards. Nope, that was Devontae Smith. So the guy led the team for one game of the playoffs. He's expendable. And he will now be gone in the salary cap crunch, in the meat grinder of the Eagles salary cap.
To protect Barkley and make sure Barkley's got all the pieces around him because that's the guy in the huddle. That's the guy. You don't win the Super Bowl without that guy.
Nah, you're protecting your quarterback, though.
Oh, by taking pieces away in the huddle? Okay.
Who did they take away?
Dallas Goedert had the most catches of anybody. See what he did, folks?
Deshae, look at what you did, bro. Look at what you did, Deshae.
He skewed it. He went with yards.
Deshae.
He went with yards instead of catches.
They just paid another guard. They gave him the best O-line in football.
Vic Sills digs it out. You're damn right it was the best O-line. Wasn't the best pass protecting O-line. The quarterback took 47 sacks. Yeah, did he not?
A lot of those because he's a dual threat. I mean, that's what happens.
Dual threat. There
dual
you
threat,
go.
Super Bowl dual threat, buddy. That's Super Bowl MVP to you, buddy.
Let's read those freaking super chats there, man.
I don't think they're. I think naturally they're protecting both players because they're signing the offensive line and that helps both players. But you're not wrong. I mean, they signed a guard or the center. And they
traded for a guard.
Well, hey, people tell me Dallas Goedert, he's the greatest blocking tight end ever. Maybe they're not protecting Saquon anymore. They want Jalen to get the ball outside the numbers to A.J. Brown and Devontae Moore.
Yeah. Well, let's see if that happens. Because of the great prolific pocket passer there. I'm sure that number will go. By the way, remember this, folks. And remember this as we read these supers here. I want you to know the less passing yards and touchdowns that Jalen Hurts has passing, the more success you have. Okay? Just remember that. His two most successful years are his least productive years.
So guys, remember, Super Bowl is a Super Bowl. It doesn't have to look the way Sileo wants it to look.
Hey, I'm not making that comment. All I'm saying is if Jalen touched the ball less, has 18 touchdowns, 9 picks, 20 touchdowns and 6 picks, and 3,200 yards and 2,900 yards, whatever, the more he's in that room, that gives you the best chance. And that's as Zander says, that's the Eagle formula. Gotcha.
I'll tell you what's the Jalen Hurts formula. You know, in Washington, Kyle Kokorski says last year Washington drafted Stormy Daniels. Hilarious. Thank you, Kyle Kokorski, for the super chat. I'll tell you something funny. So I saw this goofy ass video floating on my feed yesterday of Jaden Daniels like running into, it was like the first day of school or something. I'm like, all right, JD, that's pretty cute. And then I saw some guy dubbing and said, yeah, you don't have to run into the building when you're Jalen Hurts and you show up at 4:45 in the morning before anybody else shows up. Jaden Daniels is jogging in like a grade schooler into the facility, and the Washington fans are eating it up. Isn't this a sign, though, right? These guys haven't won in 20 years, man. They haven't even won a playoff game in more than 20 years.
20? It's more like
Super Bowl is like 30, but playoff game I think is 20, right?
Okay.
So
shit. They haven't been to a playoff. I mean, they haven't been to a Super Bowl since like the 90s, dude. Like 90. I mean, it's been.
So they're all jacked up about their quarterback jogging
let's
into
just
work.
put it to you this way: they haven't been to a Super Bowl since they've been in that shithouse of a stadium they're in Landover, Maryland. Okay, I mean, they haven't been to a Super Bowl since when they were over at RFK.
Dude, look at Eduardo. Eduardo, I could not agree with you more on this. He says, I get nervous watching Daniels play, man. Every time he gets to running, I feel like with one good hit, and that's all she wrote for Buddy.
Hey, man, he is 1-2 versus you dudes.
Dude, he is a small dude, though, man. Dude, imagine if Fred Warner taking that guy's head off, or the greatness of the bald eagle, Zach Bond, dude. Are you kidding me? I'm with you, Eduardo.
They haven't won a Super Bowl since Jerome was alive.
Wow. Yeah, that's a long
that's
time.
90. That's 90, like 4.
Well, you could see it. You know, James Jones is a fan of the Eagles because of this. You know, he tells himself he's a Commander fan, but he legitimately is an Eagle fan. So that's what happens. Most of them have flocked away from the fan base, but they'll probably flock back because they went last year. And you know, then once this short stint of half decent mediocrity ends, they'll all be back on the Eagles bandwagon. Kimbos, are we prepared to lose Starks to Washington?
Starks to Washington, 28, 29?
That doesn't scare me, bro.
Nothing scares Zander and the Eagles right now, man. Even all the players are there.
No, that's not true.
You think they win the Super Bowl as of right now?
The Eagles?
Yeah.
Well, the odds would say probably not, but I think they have a really good chance to contend again, yes.
You think they'll be one of the top 4 teams at the end of the day?
I think they'll be one of the top.
I think they make the Final Four, the division. Or you think they make the division Final Four? Rams, them, Bucks, Packers. That sound right? Those 4? Oh, Detroit, Rams, Eagles, Detroit, and who would be that 4th team?
For the divisions? What division are we leaving?
Who would be your Final 4? Would be your Final 4 teams going into the divisional rounds. Then you go into the conference title game.
Right. Yeah, Eagles,
Detroit, LA.
I think the Commanders could still be there, just like they were last year. It doesn't have to be 2 at 1 NFC East team. I think it could be both.
That sounds
I'm not
right.
going to put them there, though. I'm not going to put them there. I'm going to go Rams. I'm going to go Eagles. I'm going to go Lions, and I'm going to go. Who's the surprise team in the NFC this year?
Bucks.
Nobody in the South. Nah, maybe the Bucks.
The Bucks play well too.
I already picked the Rams of the West, and I don't see any of the other West teams being that great. Packers or Bucks? Yeah, I'd probably go Bucks just because I like Baker.
Washington, Detroit, Rams, and Philly. That would be your strong bet on being your 4, but I'm going to take Washington. No, because I'm with John McMullen. Washington will win the East. So
no, they won't. That is an insane take by you.
Hey,
Washington will finish 3rd in the NFC East this year.
What? John McMullen picked it.
I don't give a shit what John McMullen picked. Washington will finish 3rd in the NFC East this year.
Can you imagine if Philly finished 3rd behind the Dallas Cowboys?
Philly will not finish 3rd. Philly will finish 1st.
Washington.
Imagine thinking a team with Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Zach Bond, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Reed Blankenship would finish 3rd in the NFC.
Reed Blankenship you have in the category of Lane and them?
You waited for the one fucking name you could pounce on.
See how he slipped that in there on you guys?
For the one name you could pounce on, man.
He slipped. He slipped Reed Blankenship in between Milata and Lane.
Come
Nice,
on, man. I got to
man,
slip the milkman in there. Reed, baby.
You are learning way too good, man.
Are
Holy
you
shit.
kidding me, man?
He slipped Reed in there between Milata and Lane. Hey, any more supers, dude?
The exciting whites slipping in there. He didn't.
my
Sileo
God.
bought the DeJean one. He did not buy the Reed. Good ship
You got
one.
Reed
You're
in
lucky
there?
I didn't throw Achille Ringo in there,
Oh,
baby.
my Keely Ringo. I
Or
forgot.
Sidney Brown.
Oh,
Here we go. We
geez.
got more supers. Kimbo again. Taylor's dad played for Miami with Saban. High IQ. Yes. I like Mason Taylor.
Yeah.
I'd move up from 64 to 50 and take Mason Taylor.
Jimmy Johnson drafted Jason Taylor.
That's right.
Did you know that?
Wow, Jason Taylor had a dope career.
Get this. Jason Taylor was a 3rd-round pick. And Jimmy found him off the value chart. And he also found the linebacker who ended up in the 5th round going to the Hall of Fame. So that's why you talk about a guy who knows what he's doing in drafting. He looked at the chart. Jason Taylor, dude, was a 3rd-round pick. And Zach Thomas was a 5th-round pick. And Jimmy took them, and they're Hall of Famers. Jimmy took Larry Allen in the 7th round. Best guard in the history of the game. Milata may go down as one of the top.
That's crazy,
20,
dude.
That may go down as one of the top greatest offensive tackles in the NFL history. And he was a 7th-round pick.
He's got a ways to go to get there, but that is crazy.
I said one of the top 20 guys all time.
Oh, top 20. Yeah, I agree with that.
All time.
Yeah, that's wild. From the 7th round, baby. I love it. Jeff Bone. Oh, we got that. Yeah, did you see that? The Dotson 5th-year option was declined.
Oh, wow. Really?
Where is Jordan?
Hey. How you doing?
On Jordan?
What's his name? Ojamala? The guy who cut loose? That guy was better. The guy who played in Washington a year ago was better than.
What is your gripe now with the Jomo? The guy's a 7th rounder playing well above where he was drafted. That's a great story, and you're crying about him like a sissy. What are you talking about, Ojamala?
I like him. No. Jahan was the 17th player taken. He's
Jahan's nothing.
Hey, so wait. They're moving on from him. This is his last year. You think they move him?
Yeah.
You couldn't get a box. You couldn't get a box of thumbtacks for that guy.
For who?
Yeah, Nazi. Come on, man.
No, I mean, Howie sent a 3rd for him. It was like the worst trade I've ever. I honestly think Howie owed Adam Peters something from some point in their careers, and he said, "Yeah, I'll take this guy for a 3rd. I'll give you. I will get fleeced publicly for you." To start your GM career and look good that you fleeced the best general manager in football. I owe you. Now it's back to business, and now you see what Adam Peters is up to this year. He has a drastic fall off from year 1 to year 2. His moves this offseason have been putrid. He aged his team 4 years with their signings. That was all bad moves by Peters in Washington.
So he's added players, how he's cut loose players, and you think the Eagles are going to have a better year or as good a year.
The Javon
They went from
Jonathan Allen to Javon Kinlaw.
So, wait a minute.
Sileo thinks they're better.
You haven't added anything except some garbage pails, and you think you're going to be in the same room where you were a year ago on defense.
All right. So last year we beat him. What was it? 55 to 2 in the NFC title game.
At least I'm not. Well,
what do you think it's going to be this year, Sills?
That team, you don't have that team's bye-bye, dog. You put that team on a float and send it out to sea.
Who?
That 2024 Super Bowl champion Eagle team got sent out to sea, bro.
The entire offense is back.
Oh, I said that team you sent out to sea with no oars.
Wait a second. The team that just scored the most points in NFL playoff history.
And the team that shut down
the entire offense.
And a team that shut down the 3-time Super Bowl champion. And it made them look stupid. You sent that defense out to sea like they were a man without a country.
Yeah, sent them out to sea. The whole offense is back, Sileo.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you mean that prolific passing offense?
Did the Phillies lose? They were just winning 3-2. What happened extras?
Hey,
Oh,
what did I remember remember that proclamation I made? Rob Thompson will be blown out by the end of the year.
You're right about that for sure. You're right about that for sure. All right, Sills, good stuff, brother. I see the man Philly 500 in the chat. I'm looking forward to the segment.
No doubt about it, man. Don't forget, Michael Irvin's also going to join us on Friday, too. So,
Thank you, Sills.
Zander, great stuff as always, mother.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
You got to recover from these ass beatings. That's 2 in a row, my friend.
You make it sound like it's Philly 500 beating up on Mark Holmes. Poor guy. Do the Cowboys even have a draft? You see Jerry Jones, a.k.a. Skeletor? See what he's doing out there, man? He's like, I mean, you watch the Cowboys move up to get the Cleveland pick and go get Travis Hunter. I think Jerry, because Jerry said it, this is his last year running the football team. All right. Where in the world is Philly 500 going to go tomorrow night in the draft at 32? I'm going to propose the same thing that I did to him